Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how I designed this little case for my square and how I made it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. Yeah, so this is the case and I just modeled it up in Fusion so I could see what's up. And yeah, there's a few design features that I needed to get right, including this curve here. There's a slight indent on the side of the square, and I put a shelf in so the metal part of the square, or the square part of the square, doesn't push down and flap against the bottom of it. Just makes it a bit nicer. To do that, I just made a little smaller version to 3D print to check the fittings and all that. I actually did this like a year ago, and I just sort of never took this into the full project, but here we are now. Anyway, so after I did that, it was time to design the actual box that it was going to be. So I ended up with this design. And yeah, I just used this 3D model to create the templates for the side and the short side and the long side profiles, and then cut them on the table saw, as you'll see. Okay, so first we're just going to get some stock ready. This is just some random Australian hardwood I've had lying around my shed for yonks now. Some crazy hard eucalypt. It was like 50 mils thick, so it was perfect for this. But it's good to see it getting some use, honestly. But yeah, so I put some reference pins in the top. That did not end up working out very well. I was going to use those holes to locate the piece again on the CNC after I sawed it in half. But as you see, it didn't really work out that well. So once I'd cut that, I just finished the remainder of the cut on the router table, because my CNC can't cut that deep. And yeah, at this point I'm just really admiring my great dust collection, especially the router table. It's just kind of floating off into the wind, isn't it? Lots to be desired there. Lots of stuff to work on in the shop. But we got the cut done, clean up a bit afterwards. This is the custom box joint template jig that I've made. So this is a template that is essentially representing the long side of the rectangle that I've got, and those holes are going to be where the table saw will cut the dados. So it just works with a key, which is the same size as your saw blade, or you can adjust it plus or minus, 0.5, 0.1 millimeters to get just the perfect tolerance for what you like in terms of like how tight you want your joints to be when gluing up. But the key just references that pattern I just put in. Yeah, I designed this whole jig and have just added tons of creature comfort and usability features, and I'm going to be making a full video on that soon, so if you're interested in that, hit the like and subscribe. But yeah, now I've just switched the template out and I'm doing the short side, and again it's just referencing the datas I want to cut. And yeah, it's as simple as that. Now I just got to dress some stock to use for the inlays. This is walnut, and I really like walnut. Like, I mean, who doesn't like walnut, especially in Australia where it's such a rare commodity. But like with hindsight, it's just too dark for how it doesn't complement the other dark wood, right? I think I like the dark overall tone of like the two woods together, but it doesn't really like pop or anything. And I think a way to do that better would have been to use, like, I've got a bit of northern silky oak, and that's like a sort of a darker orange color, but it's quite chatoyant, and the grain structure is like yeah, just like a bit shinier, right? And so I think using that would have been a bit nicer and made it pop a bit more, but that's okay, It's not the end of the world, right? It's just a little case for myself that's going to sit in my shed and I'm not going to think about after a week. So yeah, anyway, this is the glue up, and it was pretty messy. One of the corners ended up snapping off. You'll probably see it coming up here, and Yeah, I was kind of in panic mode. Well, not panic mode, but at this point, a few things had gone wrong with the project, and it was just kind of like, oh, okay, this is just going to be one for the trash can. But I ended up pushing through and just clamping it back together, essentially. And it turned out okay, right? Like, honestly, now, when I look at the finished piece, it's, I couldn't even notice it, so... crisis averted, I guess. It's also like just nice to sort of, you know, make do with what you got and just continue on and not try and worry about it being too perfect, considering it's only for like, you know, keeping for just a tool in the shop, really. Alright, so now I'm just resawing it on the CNC, and you can see those reference pins. Just because of how messy the glue up was and how much I had to take off when re-flattening it after the inlays, I couldn't end up using them. But that's okay because they were probably a bit too small for reference, you know, for referencing on the CNC anyway. Like, there's just not enough material for like little pegs to hold on to. But anyway, I resawed it in half, planed it off, and now one of them was just not wanting to lay flat, so I'm trying everything to get this thing flat. I eventually get it to a point where I can just cut out a profile at a very conservative speed. I ended up holding it down halfway through just to make sure it got through it. But then I made some negatives, plonked them in the negatives, and then I could surface it and cut out the pocket for the square. And it was kind of nice to get to this point because this is just the CNC finally doing what the CNC does best, and you know, just cutting accurate pockets. I guess what could have been cool as well is adding like another pocket for some pencils or something, or a marking knife, a small marking knife. But you know, anyway, there's the test fit. Then it's on to sanding, doing all that stuff. I just used some hard wax oil on it, and it's all coming together now. Putting some hinges on it. I had some hinges from a leftover box project, so the gold looks quite nice with the dark wood. Okay, so now we're at the end. As you can see, fits really nice. It's already collecting dust excellently. Yeah, no movement or anything in it, which is really good. I'm really happy with the fit and a good clicky, snappy action. These are some of the boxes I've made using the template system. You get joints like this, and you can sort of 3D print your own custom designs. And yeah, so if you're interested in that, hit the like and subscribe. Got a video coming soon. Thanks. Have a great day.